Lucia. There's also Algarve, which is going on, but we will not cover that, unfortunately. But Spain, great racing. This is Mr. Consistence race. Alejandro Valverde basically winning every single race edition of this for the last 6 years, except for when Froome did it. He won't be here this year, but Froome will. And what do you make of that, David? Let's just jump straight into it.
I think I'm like most people. Yeah, not very happy that he's here. I don't think anybody can be happy. I don't think Froome can be happy. He's still riding under a cloud. I don't think he should race again until a decision has been made either way. Sky bringing him here kind of makes a circus of the race. Sure thing, the organisers will be very pleased because there's a lot more press coverage of the race and they'll be delighted with that. But, you know, it devalues his teammates. The fact that everybody's talking about Froome, you know, guys like De La Cruz and Poles, I'm not too happy he's here, but Team Sky are Team Sky. They do what they want, and they don't mind annoying little people like me.
He's been putting in a lot of rides because he recently reopened his Strava account to the general public, and for like December and January, he's been pumping out 250k rides like every day. It would have felt like. I made a few videos on that, which you can see over on our Facebook page. But he's been putting in the work, so he's definitely in shape. But yeah, it's going to be, no matter what happens, it's going to be a weird outcome. Because if Chris Froome wins, it's kind of like Contador, was it in 2011 when his case was going on? He may win everything now, but when you go back, they might be stripped away from him. But it's Chris Froome, there's not much we can do. It's not like me and David speak to the other David, you know, the UCI president. So, hey, it is what happens. Andalusia, David, I really like the parkour when I had a look at this. What do you make of the stages we're going to have in Spain this week?
Love them. Andalusia, my second home, remember? Best place on the planet, 100%. So we begin with, we usually start with a sprint stage, but this probably won't be like a big sprint stage. We go along the coast, we end in Granada. The stage could be much harder. There are some enormous climbs around Granada, but the main climb is a Cat 1 climb, 11.8k, 6.1%. Comes after about 100 kilometres. We still have about 80k to go. Normally that would mean bunch rides at tempo, and then it's kind of a relatively easy pace. But after it, the road doesn't go down. It continues to rise. A couple more Cat 3s. Then we have the next kind of crucial point, 4.3k, 6.3%, still at crest with 40k to go. Normally that would mean small attack, biggest bunch together, we have a sprint finish. But considering the races we've had in Spain recently, where we've seen Astana really rip it up and send Fuglsang and Leon Sanchez away off the front, there is a chance for a number of outcomes tomorrow, which is why it's going to be such an exciting stage. We could have the GC day. We could have a relatively quiet kind of sprint from 50 day, or we could have the breakaway winning because nobody really will want to take control. And we start with a climb 5 kilometres at 7.5%. So, yeah, fantastic first day. Second day is the big climb, Alanadas, which we did back in 2012, I think, and Froome beat Contador just by enough to win the GC. We're talking a little bit over 3k, about 12, 13%. One of the hardest climbs you can do. You know, it is brutally, brutally steep, and that will just decimate the peloton. Strongest man will win and probably take a commanding victory and a strong hold on GC. Stage 3, the only sprint stage. The sprinters get rewarded for coming here because, my goodness, they just have a hard 5 stages. This is the sprint stage, so good for them. Stage 4, big climb in the middle, short climb at the end. It kind of doesn't seem like much, 1.4k, 10%. I've seen a video of the climb. It's unbelievable. It's not the steepness. It's, if you've ever been to the south of Spain, the kind of the alleyway between a street is very, very narrow, and it's kind of like got slabs, but like tiles, and it's very bumpy. So this road is, you know, it's, I don't know, you could probably fit a car on it.
I actually have a picture. I have a, thanks to La Flamme Rouge, You can actually follow the climb up, so they actually see on screen right now what you're talking about, David.
It's the cracks. The cracks in between the tiles are enormous, and then just before you get to the top, there's a descent, which is, you would be scared. I would be scared to go down this as a normal human being. I'd probably be scared to walk down it as that bumpy. And then it kicks back up again for the kind of final ramp. I do not know how they've been allowed to put this in the race. It's going to be brilliant for fans. It's going to be awful for riders. Big gaps that day, and that's just not the gaps between the concrete. Stage 5, 14k time trial, 5.5 kilometres on dirt roads. Why not? Let's just go for it. We're in the south of Spain. Let's just be crazy and put the riders through ultimate tests. So, yeah, 14k TT, 5.5k on dirt roads. Thumbs up from me.
Can I just say, there'll be massive gaps and not just in the tiles or in the pavement, David. That is top level David Hunter cycling mode. That is when David has been sitting there all day in his notes going, I'm going to pick that one out. I'm going to save that for the preview. If you did not pick that one up, rewatch it.
Carrollton Kirby, you can have that one.
Oh, you should. Somebody should clip that piece right there, send it to Kirby, then if he says it, he should credit David. There was a lot of information to soak in there. I like the dirt roads. They've done that before in Spain. That's when they started the Vuelta a España, when they started on the beach. I do remember they did that. Looking at the one sprint stage, David, that they do have, it's a very limited field in terms of sprinters for the first stage could be a sprint stage, and then you have the designated sprint stage. I mean, you got Venturini, you got Pascalon, you got Modolo, but who's going to control all this?
Good question. Drapac were unlucky in Valenciana. Modolo crashed on the opening stage when he was in a relatively good position. He might have pushed Van Poppel. The big teams don't have a sprinter, so you're looking around on that stage and you're thinking, if somebody gets in the break, you just never know. The break could stay away. But yeah, I mean, Lotto they've got Hofland, Modolo's here, Venturini from AG2R. But if I'm AG2R, I'm not controlling the race all day long for Venturini. If I'm Lotto, I'm not controlling the race all day long for Hofland. The pressure, I think, would go on to Education First. They could do it. They could hold it together. But it's a good day for a breakaway.
A question on Twitter was in regards to Brenton Jones as he moved from JLT to Delco Marseille. The question is, you have him in Division 4. How is he going to fare in this race if it comes down to a sprint?
Top 5 to 10, I would say. He's transitioning from a year spent in Britain when he was riding for JLT Condor. Make no mistake, this is an enormous step up. He's raced in the Bongo for his new team. He then raced in Beceges, where he found it difficult. And from Beceges to Andalusia, it is another step up. You don't just walk in and start kind of podium finishing in these races. He will be struggling in some of the big stages, and then he will look to have good legs. If he can finish top 5, that would be a fantastic return for him.
If you've got any more questions while David and I slowly move on to the climbers and the GC favourites, do ask them in the chat, as I've got it open on my phone. I do see Ian, I see Cycle Pieces, Jamie Huey, Pedal Power, Nils Laflamme I do read the comments, so if you've got any comments you want us to touch on as we go along, do ask them in the comments below. David, Valverde isn't here this year, but the new captain, Miguel Landa, is. Is that just a plug and paste? Is he just going to come in and take over Valverde's role and win like Valverde did?
Potentially. I mean, he's up against strong teams. He doesn't have a very strong team himself. He's got Marcelea, Amador, 2 good riders, but they don't really have the strength of Sky and Astana. I think we're all excited to see Landa be team leader. I don't think he will be leader too much this season. Looking at his race programme, there's a number of races where he'll be going, and Valverde and Quintana are going to be there. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how he goes. He should do well. TT would normally be a downfall, but in his Sky days, he did improve as a TT rider. Finished second in the National Championships last season. So he has a potential to do it, but those kind of 14, 15 Ks at the end, he could lose 45 seconds. I think the big one for Landa is the second stage. if he can put them to the sword on the kind of 13% slopes, he could put 30 seconds a minute into some of his rivals, but that's relying on him being top form.
Yeah, this early in the season, that might be a question mark. On the topic of form, Astana, Luis Leon Sanchez and Fuglsang. Like, Luis Leon is good, but did you expect him to be that good, David?
No. No way. He seems to have rediscovered, like, not even just his old form, seems to be better than ever before. He has started the season with a big bang. You would have thought that Fuglsang would have been kind of better than him in Valenciana when they went onto the really steep stage. Nope, Sanchez was right up there. I think he was second overall. He then goes to Murcia. They pull the same attack, the three of them, Valverde, Fuglsang and Sanchez. This time, Sanchez wins. We didn't really see what happened, but we can imagine that Valverde kind of let him win. Mm-hmm. Both are from the region, good friends. Valverde has won Murcia many times in the past. I think it was, if he did allow Sanchez off the front, it was a classy thing to do. But Sanchez is an outstanding form. They've got Fuglsang, who's already going well. They've got Moreno Moser, who just won in Italy at the weekend. They've got Michael Valgren. They've got a really, really strong team. And like we've seen in Valenciana, they are not scared to attack and to try and put other teams under pressure.
I see the prince of cycling tips thing, as I think I called him in the Cycling Weekly article. Jamie Huey has tipped Moreno Moser to win stage 1. What do you think about that?
Interesting pick. Has good form. It would require a certain bunch size for Moser to win. And because of bonus seconds on offer, if the bunch is too small, they'll probably ride for Sanchez to try and get him some bonus seconds. If the bunch is about 40, you would imagine there would be a rider faster than Moser in the bunch. So it would take a special circumstance, but picking an Astana rider is not silly. They've got a really strong team, and if they play stage 1 correct, then they could go on and win.
Chris Froome, we barely touched on him when we just started the preview off. You cannot go around it. Chris Froome, Team Sky, they got a strong team with Froome, De La Cruz, and Wout Poels. Who do you reckon is going to be the captain going into this race?
Should be Poels. He was disappointed in Valenciana. Team Sky were disappointed in Valenciana. They let Valverde go with Fuglsang. Big mistake, first of all. They let Sanchez attack in the descent and bridge across. Bigger mistake. Then Poels on the Queen stage, nowhere near good enough. I think he just finished in front of Van Avermaet on the climb. However, he usually goes well in Spain. I would expect Poels to be team leader. De La Cruz has just joined them. Froome has been training like a maniac over in Africa. So I would think Poels would be a worthy leader for them, and probably deserved.
The supposed reasoning for why Froome has been training like a maniac is that he's trying to replicate Grand Tour environment so he can show, WADA and all these doping agencies that his salbutamol levels were caused due to Grand Tour environment. It's make of it what you want, but he's still putting in massive rides. We're back to Men in Black. Looking further around, we got Steven Kruijswijk, got Antunes from CCC. Who else are we looking at that could make an impact not named Landa, Fuglsang, Sanchez, or Wout Poels?
The mighty Tim Wellens. Too often do we see Wellens as a breakaway rider. The man is an outstanding athlete. Started brilliant in Mallorca again this season, taking the win. If he just becomes patient, this is the perfect race for him. I would say the second stage is probably on his limit, but the rest of the stages are good for him. That stage we spoke about, the kilometre climb at the end, perfect for Wellens. This is the race where we could see him go from breakaway stage winner to proper GC leader. He just needs to remain patient. He has it in him. He needs to believe himself that he can go toe-to-toe with these riders on that second stage. And if he can do a kind of top 5 result, that would be fantastic. We watch him every year. He is amazing. He wins so many races, but he just needs to go one more. And I think this is a really good race for him. And he can also do a good TT.
What about the weather forecast, though? Because Tim doesn't usually win unless it's pouring down.
No. He can also win in normal weather conditions. It's not going to be too hot, which is good. I think tomorrow is kind of like 13, 14 degrees. It should be about that for most of the week down there. So it's Tim Vellon's weather.
Ben Hermans, he skipped a tour of Oman to come here. Israel Cycling Academy, your best buddies. What do you think Ben is going to do here?
Do you know what? I find it very difficult to predict when a rider moves down a level. It's hard to know what they're going to do. Like, he's used to riding for BMC, so BMC means the best bikes, the best components, the best setup, the best team, and then that's good. And he rides for them, and the pressure isn't really on him a huge amount because he's not one of their main stars. He goes and picks up some good results, and people are really pleased with him. He goes to Israel Cycling Academy, so he's not now on the best bike. He won't have the best components. He won't have the best team behind him. And the pressure is on him now because he is their team leader. He is the man they are paying probably a very large salary. So he's got to deliver now. So for Hermans, it's a totally different mindset to be in. And we saw in Valenciana, he didn't really perform to the level that you would maybe have expected. He was down in 11th place overall. So it's that difficult dynamic for a rider when they go down the level, but more is expected of them. So he could do well. I'm looking at the second stage and thinking that's too hard for him.
Okay, last but not least, before we move on to the Kobayashi segment, he's been asked a lot on Twitter, a lot in the chat after I asked them for their input. Stephen Kruijswijk, they want you, David, to touch on why he may or may not be a favourite for this race.
I spoke to his coach this morning, so I'm probably in quite a good place to say if he's in a good place.
Let's hear it, David.
Good winter. He will go full gas, and they will see how he gets on. There's no pressure on Kruijswijk. He usually starts the season relatively slowly. Last year was again another year of disappointment, frustration. He targeted the Giro. He crashed in Yorkshire, and that affected him during the Giro, and he couldn't perform his best. He bounced back to the Swiss, finished third, but it was another year where he just didn't quite reach the level that he expected of himself. So back to the drawing board in the winter time. He will come here. He is capable of going top 10, but like I said, there's no pressure on him. It's just a case of seeing how he goes in his first race of the season. It's the same for everybody in the first race. You can't really predict what's going to happen. That goes for him. That goes for Landa. You just don't know what you're going to get first time out.
Okay, Kobayashi segment. Guys, this is the segment where we let a random number generator pick a rider on the start list that David and I have to say a quick few words about in relation to the race, their season so far, the team they ride on, anything in regards to them. Mostly so it can catch me out to make me be on my toes as we try to do this. We're still yet to come up with a forfeit, so some sort of punishment for me, basically, for not knowing who it is, but maybe that one day David gets a rider he doesn't know about. Could be fun. So in the chat, do come up with some suggestions. In the past, I've eaten my hat because Pim Lichthart didn't finish top 40. I have eaten hot chocolate, really spicy chocolate, because Julian Elizondo went in the breakaway in Strade Bianche and didn't finish top 40. By the way, Pim Lichthart could have finished top 40. He just didn't care. He did issue an apology, but Kobayashi segment forfeit. Let us know in the chat. I believe I went first yesterday, David, so you can go first today with this. Number 14 is Christian Nies. Again.
I got him again. I got him in the Cadell Evans race.
Do you want to use your one reroll of the day?
Yes, please. But
what are the odds of getting Christian Nies again?
1 in 217, I think, probably.
133. Martin Budding of Ramput Nederlandse Lottery.
Martin Budding. Don't know a lot about him, if I'm brutally honest. He is young. I think this is potentially his second season at Ramput. He's a bit of a climber. He's a bit of an all-rounder. Kind of solid pack rider is what I would say about Martin Budding.
How do you know that? How do you even know he's a climber in this regards?
He's a bit everything really.
Yeah, it says time trialing here on Pro Cycling Stats, but looking at his top results, they all come in the Alps. Top 10 finishes. He also finished 18th in the Tax Pro Classic of last year. Interesting. I thought that would catch you out, if I had to be honest.
Like pudding, the Buddha.
Oh, 156 for once! Can I be in the sub 100s?
Who did you get?
156. Preben van Heg. Big Preben. At least somebody I've heard of before on a team that's Tough Sport Flanders, a team that has made Yves Lampard, Edward Turns, Yellow Valais. Oh, big
Stop
Preben.
talking about that. Get to Preben.
Sorry?
Get to him. Come on.
Oh, he's gonna go well. He's gonna go in the breakaway in like loop. He's gonna go well in a breakaway here. He's the big kind of guy to go off the front, isn't he?
What I would say about Preben is he's actually my dark horse for stage one.
Really?
Yeah, he was in a number of breaks in the stages in Mallorca. I think he maybe won a KOM jersey or a sprint jersey over there. He's in good form already, former Belgian champion. He would be my dark horse for stage one, getting that break, and he's got the form.
Oh, the chat is now catching up. Guys, I have been out of the pro cycling world for a good 9 months last year, so I have a lot. Preben van Heg, I should have more to say about, but can I just get somebody in the sub 100 for once? Like, Kobayashi. Kobayashi has not been kind to me. Prediction for Andalusia. Funny enough, we landed on Van Hecke there as a potential outsider. David, who is going to win the overall here and why?
Right, I don't think Froome's here to win GC. I think he'll be riding for poles. You've got poles, you've got Landa, you've got Astana. So you've got Sanchez, you've got Fuglsang. Looking at it, having a strong team is obviously beneficial, but stage two, having teammates, it doesn't matter on that climb. Like there's no drafting. It's just man versus man. Looking at form, it has to be Sanchez. Given the way he started this season, like on the same level as Valverde, which you don't see very often of any rider in Spain, but he is at that level. He has started the season unbelievably, and I think looking at the field here, he's just a little bit ahead of them. And having Fuglsang, Chernetsky, Valgren, Moser to back him up will be good. Let's not forget Sanchez can do a really good time trial when he needs to. He doesn't always need to. So if you look through his results, time trial can sometimes be a bit hit or miss. My concern would be stage two, but he was second to Valverde on the really steep climb in Valenciana. So that should be okay. So yeah, I'm going with Luis Leon Sanchez.
I'm staying within the team because I'm going with my compatriot Dane Jacob Fuglsang. I have a feeling that Fuglsang is just going to go so well here. This early in the season, he's feeling it, he's into it. Him and Sanchez and Valverde on that stage was fun to watch. In case, because I think it comes down to either Fuglsang or Sanchez, as you pointed out. And in case Sanchez is not on his A game, who's the second guy to win? It's going to be Fuglsang. So also the TT favors both of them. Don't know how they do on dirt roads. Don't know how they do in cyclocross conditions, going in between tiles while at 10%. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Let us know in the chat below or in the comment section below if you're watching this later on David's YouTube channel who you think is going to win. I can't wait. It starts tomorrow. We're going to have Oman in the morning, Algarve in the afternoon, and Andalusia in the evening. Isn't that how they usually goes, David?
Other way around.
Oh.
Algarve's the same time as in Britain. So Andalusia will be before it, and then we will have Algarve after.
It's going to be fun nonetheless. I
think it's only on Eurosport Player, I think, in Britain. I think people in mainland Europe are getting both live on Eurosport 2.
Ooh. Anyway, there are always, for those that ask, always places to find live streams on the internet. The old cycling hub might be gone, but a lot of other people took up the torch. So if you do the searching around, if you ask the right people, there's always a way to find live TV coverage. David, you know it's 11 days until Omloop Nieuwsblad?
The new Omloop Nieuwsblad?
Oh, can you just saying that word, my mouth just starts salivating. I just feel the water coming out. Omloop Nieuwsblad. That is usually when the season starts, but I think this year season has already started with the Spain races. But On The Bet Newsblad is 11 days away. Couple season is just around the corner, guys. So make sure to subscribe to this channel to not miss another preview. It's been David Hunter and Jess Brinker, and we will see you guys next time.